There's a message that's coming in about a whole new wave of awakenings, okay? And I mean this in many different ways. So for those of you who have already been through an awakening, you're going to go through another awakening. And to just give you an example, like me and my friend Rhonda was talking about earlier, was, you know, when I would have to learn lessons before, I'd go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with, my will, God's will, things of that sort. But then it would get to the point where enough pain would happen to where I'd finally learn the lesson. So now, this time round, when I'm going through learning the same type of lessons, I'm not really learning them. It's more like when the same type of situation might come up, as soon as it does, it's like I'm instantly like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do here. I've been through this before, sort of thing. But there's also this thing that's happening with a lot of people right now where you have been the light for quite some time in a lot of people's lives, but now there is evidence of the light that you have been in their lives. Okay. And what I mean by this is you're starting to see the people around you change. Some of them are significantly. You may even realize on a deeper level that you was meant to be placed in certain places or in certain people's lives so that you could be that catalyst to help awaken them, because you've already been through your awakenings, um, or I should say started the process of your awakening, because you never truly fully quit awakening. As long as you're willing and open-minded to expanding, you will always keep expanding, and more awakenings will keep happening to you to help you evolve, and whatever it is, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. So what I'm feeling here, though, is that many of you are starting to realize that the people around you, maybe it's employees, family members, loved ones, maybe even yourself, are going through an awakening, okay? Maybe for some people around you, it's the very beginning of a spiritual awakening for them. They've never been through anything like this, and now they're starting to go through it. Some of them may not even realize. However, you may realize that that's exactly what's going on for them. One of the things that I am seeing through this is that it's going to take a lot of, how do I get this out? Give me the right word, Spirit. It's going to take a lot of adapting to the quick changes that are happening around you, or adapting to being that person that is the light. And I'm just going to use an example, okay? There's a certain person at work that a lot of times when they talk to me, and it's more times than not, when they are talking to me, they come across very rude. I feel like sometimes they're even trying to put me down to an extent, and I've had to stand up for myself several times. However, I know that Spirit is using me as the catalyst to help them to see this character defect, so to speak. And I don't want to say it's really a defect, but it's something that is somewhat of a flaw. Okay. It's something that they could work on or they could improve. Okay. Defect is kind of a heavy word. However, along with this particular way that Spirit uses me, it can be very trying on my spirit sometimes, meaning, there's times where I may get anxious when these type of experiences happen, and I have to stand up for myself, or I have to tell somebody, something that I don't really want to have to tell them, but it's just, Spirit working through me. A lot of times Spirit will, speak through me, and it's not my human words. This is Spirit directing something through me to somebody that I'm speaking to. And that's kind of how things have been going with this person lately. And with not just this person, but with several people around me. Not all of these people are experiences where I feel like there's a lot of issues, or, I'm having to be that light to help them to awaken, to see the negative aspects of themselves. But there's also these people that have been put in my direct vicinity where they are curious about things and Spirit puts them right in my path. Or maybe they're going through some things at home and I've experienced some things, so Spirit puts them directly in my path for me to be able to be a listening ear and then to be able to give my experience strength and hope. So there's multiple ways in which Spirit is using my light at this time, and that's exactly what Spirit is talking with you guys, that there's multiple ways in which your light is being spread. Okay, let's just say spread. But remember, you are what the light that they're being specific about is that catalyst type of light, that light that puts a fire under somebody's ass to change a certain aspect, or what have you. And I feel like 545, guys, look that up on Sacred Scribes. But I feel like what Spirit is trying to say is that some of you have been feeling a little bit overworked, a little bit burdened by having to share your light. Maybe it's just very trying on your spirit. But I do feel like this new awakening that many of you are going through is going to help you to see things a little bit differently. There's going to be a different perspective that is going to help you to realize that your light is needed, that all of these things that you're going through, there is a good purpose. There is going to be a turnaround. And for me, this isn't my first rodeo with going through a phase of awakenings with people. And through my next cycle of awakenings, they may be going through their beginning of a cycle as well. And they're teaching me just as many lessons as I'm teaching them, regardless of whether or not they know it. And so, there is this sense of yin and yang, feeling a push and a pull as well. Just feeling very, very vibrant and full of life, but then at the same time, just feeling exhausted. That's me. Okay. I am joyful almost every single day. As soon as I get to work, things start to pop in different directions and I'm pulled all over the place, and not just with my work, but with people, with situations that Spirit is using me to help show them the way in some way, shape, or form. Okay. And this is where I see that a lot of you are at. And if you're not at this place yet, this is what Spirit is trying to, warn you, give you a good warning that, this is what you have to look forward to here soon. This is something that I need you to understand, adapting to situations, to, having to be okay with like certain people not treating you the way that you'd like to be treated, but knowing that there is good in these people. And thank you to Rhonda also for saying to me today, make sure that you're trying to find the light in everybody that's around you. And I think that I've always done that, but I don't purposely think, just like I think about retraining my thoughts to be positive, I don't purposely think to do something of like, well, let's see what the light is inside of them. So that is definitely going to be one of my new prayers, is that I am capable of seeing light in everybody. And I do feel like, as I'm sitting here talking about this, there has been, this may even be a new cycle for me, is seeing the light in others, because I have memory of that. But as I was speaking with my friend earlier, I didn't have much memory of like thinking about doing that. So she was a person for me today that helped me to see something that I needed to see in myself that I used to be, or I used to do, or, what have you. So this may even be something that some of you guys are going to realize that, maybe some of you might have people come to you and apologize for something they said or something that they did when you stood up for yourself, or, when you said something to them that helped them to see something that they needed to change. And when they come to you and say, I really am sorry for the way that I acted. I used to act this way, and there was a time when I actually had changed this, and I felt better about myself, and I felt better about the way that I treated people, or what have you. And, you helped me to see that I've slid backwards on that, or, maybe I need to take another look at that, or maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper as to why I'm acting that way again. That's something that I've had to do with my spiritual life. I realized, Spirit put me in hermit mode, but also put me into this place of employment that I'm at so that I can spread my light. So it's like I was at hermit mode at home, not doing as much with my business, not making as many videos, not talking to as many people. And while I'm at work, it's the opposite. I am in a physical reality, helping other people to see their own light, okay, and to change some of their ways so that they can have even more light, okay. So I do feel like Spirit's kind of pulling me in a different direction right now. So I am going to start Shuffling the cards again and see what else Spirit has to come out. But know that you are more than capable of this task, that you're more than capable of getting through this cycle, whatever the cycle is for you. Spirit is helping you to see that there's way more to what is happening for you right now than what you could probably see. Okay, than what you could probably fathom is what I'm getting, actually. Okay, so as we move on, I do feel like where some of you have been feeling a little bit weighed down by some of the things that Spirit is pulling you to spread light in, there's this opposite. I don't even want to say opposite. Let me just scratch that word. Okay, there's this. I don't know how to explain this. Give me the right words, Spirit. There's this feeling of being wore out, but also on the flip side of that, there's this feeling of just having like a lot of inspiration and a lot of inspiring moments. There's also 1116, guys, look that number up. That's my birthday, and for whatever reason, it just stuck out to me. But there's this feeling of being inspired by situations around you. So even if these situations where your light is being called to be shown at that time, there's also something about those situations that are inspiring you to be okay with being that light for more people. Being of service to others is what I'm getting. There's also this message of falling in love with yourself. And I feel like this, for most of you that are listening to this, you're going to resonate with the message of, okay, you've fallen in love with yourself multiple times through multiple cycles. And with each cycle, you felt the love increase for yourself. And there's certain things that you wouldn't stand for anymore. And there are certain ways that you would do things for yourself to show more love and appreciation towards yourself. Okay. But for a lot of you, I feel like this cycle, the self-love is about empowering others to see that when you stand up for yourself and when you take a stand for what you believe in and when you do things out of truth and out of honor and out of dignity, that, how do I say this? There's something to it. Okay. People are drawn to it. It's almost like you're magneting and you're pulling in like a magnet, those people in those situations that are helping you to show them that they too can be the light for others. I just keep getting this message over and over and over again. It's almost like you are a teacher at this time to show others how to see their own light. Yes, they're saying. And if that means pulling out some of the dark aspects of them, the aspects that maybe they don't even like about themselves, through things that are said or through conversations that you have or through ways that they're acting, and maybe you have to stand up to yourself. But there's so many situations that are happening to where people are being inspired to do more. It's almost like when they see the changes in people, they're like, okay, now Spirit, I get why you're using me to be that type of light. Why you made me have that conversation the way that you did, or why you spoke through me in such a way that it could have maybe hurt that person's feelings, because sometimes Spirit does come across that way, not to purposely try to hurt somebody's feelings, but to get them in that energy to where they have to take a look at themselves. I do feel like there's a lot of your path being lit for you at this time. There is a lot of guidance. There's a lot of direction, and intuitive guidance, as well as like deep internal knowings of the heart. So I really feel at this time it's so important for you and I to make sure that we're listening to our intuition, to make sure that we are paying attention to the signs and synchronistic type of things that are happening throughout the day. If you're getting repeated numbers, look up those numbers if you don't know what they mean. And there's this message of, a lot of times when we start new cycles and we start to feel a little bit down because things are a little bit rough when we first start a cycle, you're starting at this point when you first start a cycle. If you think about a circle, okay, the starting point is usually on the side. Okay, it's usually on the right side. And as you start to go up, you're kind of going up a mountain. And what happens when we're going up mountains? It could be exhausting. It could be tiring. It could be, very steep. And it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of willpower and strength, and just like this, optimism that you can make it. Okay, so same type of thing when you're starting a new cycle, you're moving up, up the mountain. And when you get to the top, you kind of get to this point where you're like, okay, I don't have to go through as much of the push and pull, or feeling like there's a lot of challenges, or feeling like I'm just being exhausted. I can rest for a minute. Okay, so you get into that point of resting, and then you move back down as you're going down the hill to the other side on of the, when you start on the left side, you go to the right side. When you get to the right side of the circle, then it's more of like things are speeding up, things are coming together a little bit more. And then when you go down to the bottom side of it, it's like maybe you feel like it's even more of a fast pace, slow pace, like push and pull type of energy. And then you start moving up the mountain again. But when you get to the other side, it's easier because you've learned all the lessons in that push pull area. And also in the area where you were going up the mountain and it was a little bit steep. Okay, so there's two times when you're learning a lot of lessons and you're getting through those lessons. When you get to the other side of that circle and you're going into a new cycle, you've already learned those lessons. You may have one foot in that old cycle and one foot in the new cycle, but it's up to you to not judge yourself for where you're at. It's up to you to, not make things seem as if they're so much worse than what they are, because remember, you are needed. You have a purpose here, and it is to show your love and light, share it with others. A lot of you are in an energy of having visions here. Maybe for some of you, when you close your eyes and you look into this area here, you're able to see things like eyeballs or images or shapes, or, tunnels, or it may look like dust, or just different flashes of different color. That is your third eye awakening. But there is this sense that for those of you who have been through multiple cycles in your spiritual awakening since it have happened, you've also been through multiple cycles within your third eye, and how you use it and how you receive guidance through it, and all of that good stuff. And I feel like for some of you in this cycle, it is about not seeing as much. I don't know how to say this. How do I say this? Get this out here. So maybe not seeing as much here, but just knowing here that it is. How do I say this? I feel like I'm really stuck with my words right now. I don't have to, no longer, myself, constantly look for the visions here, or constantly think that that's the only way that I'm going to get messages. Most of my messages are just already known. I don't know how that I know it, but I just know them. Okay. And not only does it resonate here, okay, it also resonates here. So I feel like a lot of you are going through something that has to do with maybe an alignment between the heart and the third eye, the heart and the mind. Maybe even, which is something that happens. That's normal as well. I feel like some of you are really questioning whether or not you continue to move forward. You will want to continue to move forward in your spiritual journey. Some of you have been feeling very tired, very much like you're not sure if you want to keep doing this. But here's the thing, like, as many times as I had said, I don't want to keep doing this, I'm tired of it. I've screamed and yelled at my angels. I've screamed and yelled at God, at the universe, at the end of the day, every bit of the things that I went through is exactly what I needed to go through. And I still continued to push on. And that's what Spirit is asking you guys to do at this time, is just continue to do it in spite of how you're feeling. Even if you don't feel like meditating that day, or you don't feel like engaging with a conversation with somebody that you know that you're going to be teaching a lesson to, or, whatever it is, Spirit is saying just do it anyway, because it always ends up being a gift. There's something about the lesson that it teaches you brings on this energy of inspiration, this energy of I am needed, and I am worthy, and I am more powerful than I think that I am. And so I feel like at the end of the day, what Spirit is trying to say with this reading is that you're protected in this journey. Okay. You're protected from harm unless you cause it to yourself. And I'm feeling like this is in multiple ways, but here's the thing. The reason why you're protected isn't just because you're protected from your angels. It's because you are listening. You're taking in the suggestions of your guidance team, whether it's coming through other people, or if you are able to hear your guidance, or your higher self, or maybe you're just very intuitive, or, empathic and very connected with your clairvoyant abilities. I don't know, but there's something that keeps getting you to be okay with starting all over again. Even though you know the cycle is a repeated cycle. Guess what, guys? It's always going to repeat, but it's always going to expand, and you're always going to evolve through it. And you will eventually get to this part where even though you go through the cycle, you don't have to go through the lessons with the cycle. The cycle is, you just have to be a part of that cycle. Okay. And maybe for a lot of you, that cycle is just a lot of you being you. Okay. And I feel like I'm supposed to leave this reading right here. I do have a few cards that just came out, and I do feel like this has something to do with a love message. So for some of you that may have been hoping that this was a love message, it sure wasn't. However, there is some messages that are coming out for love. So there is a strong sense of balance and harmony coming into a situation. If you're in some sort of separation with somebody, you could expect some sort of incoming communication coming from them. You may feel like at first it's a little bit slow or off coming, but in the end, it may speed up, or you will have a sense of there being some sort of speeding up type of energy. You are being asked to pay attention right now to what your intuition is telling you about this situation with this person, whether you're with them or not. There is a sense of making sure that you are doing what you need to do for you, your life, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. And you will start to see that the other person involved will probably balance out, because will be a balance to what you have, not balance out, but be a balance to what you are and who you are, because they have rised in energy. So there's something about frequencies changing, people coming together through these frequency changes. And there's also a message of strong bonds with this seduction card for whatever reason. That's not a typical message that would come out with this card, but it is. There's something to do with a strong bond. We also do have some secrets that are going to be revealed. For some of you, you already know about these secrets, and maybe the other party involved does not think that you do. However, you do. This is me. I've got people in my life I know so many secrets about, and it's only because I get intuitive insight into it. I hardly ever tell people what I get insight to it anymore, because a lot of people are just like, whatever, it's Trish saying whatever she's saying again. But then things end up happening. So instead of me teaching them their lesson, I'm just letting them learn a hard lesson real quick on their own. So some of you may be doing that as well. Gabriel is coming out in this message pretty strong. So communication, creativity. What am I thinking of? Community. I'm hearing conversation, communication. Anyhow, these are things that are coming out with the courage, confidence. I'm hearing. I always think of the C's. All the C lettered words are the ones that I keep coming up with. Anyhow, I hope that you guys have a wonderful night. Much love to you guys. Bye.